I think what you've got is a generation that has grown up without the need for concert. We needed it because it was the Alexandria Roller Rink, the Wheaton Youth Center, the Vienna. It was a socialization factor for these young people, and even us. Baltimore Civic Center. That's where you went to Slack Shack, merry-go-round. You bought the clothes because you wanted those seats on the floor so people would see you walking in and know you were cool because you had the latest fashion on, and you wanted to make sure in the early, we had good seats, because then you'd go back over to the lower concourse and talk to your friend that didn't know somebody that couldn't get the first 10 rows. Oh yeah, how you doing? Yeah, man, we're down here. It was a cool thing. When Barry and I did Black Sabbath, it was tickets at Ticket Center, at Slack Shack, and that's it. How much did it cost? And Debbie and I were just talking about it. Those stores didn't charge anything. They were so excited about the traffic. If you sell 200-300 tickets, that's 200-300 people walking in and seeing bell bottoms and fluff shirts and saying, hey, I got to have something to wear. And that's what they, and plus they would get their names on the air every time a commercial ran. If you hear those old commercials, tickets available now at all Ticketmaster, all the Slack Shacks, all Slick, the Empire Music, whatever the stores were, and they got mentioned. You have to have tickets printed up from a national ticket company, Quick Tick, because in order for the band to get the fair share, you'd have to provide a manifest, an affidavit of how many tickets that were printed, that were sold in those days. Today you don't have to do it because that's what you pay for. Ticketmaster, Ticketron, whatever. They don't sell a ticket until they print it as they sell it, and the computer printout tells you how many tickets have been printed.
But that was for like the bigger shows, the youth centers. You didn't.
Youth centers. Unless it was for some, I don't even know. No, Rod Stewart. I think Rod Stewart at Northern Virginia Community College. I know that there was a $3 or $3.50 ticket. But no, a lot of those Wheaton Youth Centers, those community centers. I don't even remember. We might have had strip tickets. I don't even remember. Or they just collected the money, counted the box, and in those days. It wasn't a big deal. I think a lot of times what you do is we'd have somebody from our team and somebody from their team at the box. There's 2 people at the door. And then we go back in the room, you count it all out and divide it up however.
So would the kids and the bands would stay like in a side room, or would they stay in the backstage, or would
they usually, I don't remember. I know. At where the pool table was at Wheaton Youth Center, that was a dressing room, so that way you could shoot pool and everybody. That was because I remember specifically Neil's. I don't know why I have a picture in my mind of Neil's back at the pool table.
Nils Lofgren?
Yeah. Rod Stewart was first in Jeff Beck, Gasoline Alley, lead singer. After that, you had Small Faces. Small Faces broke up, reformed as Faces, featuring Rod. Well, they did. It was Faces, but it wound up being Faces featuring Rod Stewart, because Faces basically by themselves couldn't get arrested. So that was the draw. All right. We did them in Northern Virginia Community College, and then we did them over at the Wheaton Youth Center. I know Grin was the opening act at Wheaton Youth Center, and Wheaton went really well because we were doing 2 shows out there. We turned the house over. We did 2 shows. The first show, and this was a problem, Niels opened the show, and then Stewart went on with Faces, and they were doing the new material, and everybody kept calling out for the old stuff from Gasoline Alley that Rod was doing. They didn't care about Faces music at all. And it was a really rough go. So we broke that show. Everybody went out of there. Rod was PO'd, and nobody was in a good mood. Plus, Rod, I remember, had his fur coat on, and somehow, I think after the show, got stolen. So that was the kind of night. But anyway, when the second show started, it was sold out again, and Nails went out, kicked ass, and before he left, he gave the crowd a speech about Rod Stewart and Faces that said, hey, listen, you know, I know, because he'd seen it from the first show, and I remember he went out to the crowd and he says, look, you know, I know all of you know Rod Stewart from Jeff Beck, and, you know, you'd like to hear that, but, you know, you should have a respect. I'd appreciate it if you guys showed some respect for Faces and what they're trying to do now, and if you listen close, you might really enjoy this music that they're going to give you, because it's really cool, blah, 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 blah. And the second show went off. In other words, Nails set up that crowd. That's why I said you got to get it. Nails Lofgren has got some great story. It has to have some great stories from this era, because I was there with some of the crazy stuff.